Good morning and afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Angela Tan, and I'm part of the channel marketing team here at NETGEAR. Today, we're presenting the Power Up Your Business with NETGEAR PoE Plus. If you have any questions during the presentation, please enter them into the question box on your GoToWebinar control panel, and we will get to them during the Q&A sessions at the end of the presentation. For those of you who stay the full webinar, will be entered into a raffle to win their very own 8-port PoE Plus Smart Managed Pro Switch with cloud management. So stick around after Q&A sessions. We'll be announcing the winners by then. Presenting today, we have Effie Chen, our very own product line managers here at NETGEAR. Effie, if you can start.
Sure. Thanks, Angela. Hi, everyone. I am Effie Chen, the product line manager for Smart Pro switchers at NETGEAR Business. Today, I will be presenting Power Up Your Business with NETGEAR PoE. So I will be going over these following topics. First, what is PoE? Then I will introduce the NETGEAR PoE switch portfolio with Flex PoE features and advanced PoE management features. Also, I'll be presenting some PoE case studies sharing with you guys. Let's start. What is PoE? PoE stands for Power over Ethernet, and this is the technology that allows the singular Ethernet cable to provide both power and network connectivity to the PoE-enabled devices. Look at the pictures on the right-hand side. Without PoE and with PoE, this is very obvious that PoE, you can power up the power devices with only one cable through the PoE ports and connect to the devices. So you don't have to plug in the power adapter or very complex installation of the PoE, the power plugs. And some PoE power devices include wireless access point, IP cameras, voice over IP or voice over video phones, and some security door locks, PoE light, LED lightings, and other smart IoT devices. And these devices are powered and connected to the network through a PoE switch without need for separate power supply and the power outlet close by. Let's see the evolution of PoE standard. The Power over Ethernet has been first ratified in 2003 as IEEE 802.3AF, which provides 15.4 watts of the DC power to each port. As the need for more power per port, the IEEE ratified a newer standard for PoE in 2009, which is called the PoE Plus, IEEE 802.380. This provides up to 25.5 watts per port for the device. The latest ratification update to the PoE Plus standard is the PoE Plus Plus, which is IEEE 802.3BT. So under this standard, there are two types, Type 3 and Type 4, which provides up to 60 watts per port, and Type 4 can offer up to 90 watts per port. So the commonly used PoE types are the first four classes, which is PoE and PoE Plus. They cover the power supply levels from 4 watts to 30 watts, which can provide the power devices up to 25.5 watts, which is the maximum power outlet of the PoE Plus standard. So the PoE can support wireless access points and video phones with 12.95 watts max power per port. And the PoE Plus can power up some dual band wireless access points, video phones, and surveillance cameras with 25.5 watts max power per port. Today, as you already see, with the main topics for this session, we will be focusing on the PoE Plus, which is 802.380. standard. This shows some very commonly used PoE applications in the business world today. The biggest 3 applications would be access points, IP phone, IP cameras. If you still remember from the previous slide that all of these 3 will need up to 25.5 watts to power up, which make the PoE plus standard already enough for them. So this also determine that the PoE plus is the most popular and most commonly used PoE standard for business devices. Some additional applications would be the PoE LED lights and POS readers, conference devices such as the IP phones, video phones, door lockers and audio speakers, IPTV decoders and thin clients, also the biometrics access panels, etc. Now let's take a look at the NETGEAR PoE switch portfolio. NETGEAR provides the widest range of the PoE switch portfolio for smart and mid-sized business, from 5 ports to 48 ports, from 90 watts to 1,440 watts PoE budgets. There are more than 50 different PoE switches in NETGEAR's switch portfolio. You can choose from PoE to PoE plus, even PoE plus plus, as we recently launched the Ultra 60 PoE plus plus switches. Anything that you need to power up your business networks. And also you can choose standalone switches or stackable switches across all categories: unmanaged, managed plus, smart plus, smart pro, smart clouds, and to fully managed switches. In terms of the placement and the size of the switches, there are the desktop small form factor and wall mounts and full rack mounts, and also there are some click switches we have that you can just apply them to the wall mount kit and easy mount. We also have Flex PoE that I will be talking about in just a minute later, which can upgrade both the PoE budgets by swapping the power adapter on select models. And we have a lot of advanced features and innovations. For example, the purport PoE scheduling, purport PoE power cycling, also with the remote management with smart cloud switches, and IPv6 support as well. Now, NETGEAR Flex PoE. This is a new innovation that we launched, implemented with some new products since 2 years ago that allows customers to upgrade their power budgets of the PoE switches by simply changing the power adapters. So this will allow the customer who doesn't know how much PoE budget they need from the beginning or has a limited financial budget to purchase the low cost, lower power switches from the beginning. But they may also have the plan to upgrade the PoE devices or their PoE network later, so they don't have to purchase an entirely new PoE switch with a higher PoE budget and higher cost. They just need to purchase the additional power adapter and change it to the existing PoE switch to upgrade the PoE budget. So this is our industry first Flex PoE features. And it's very simple to use. For the unmanaged switches, there's the Flex PoE switch at the back of the switch. You can just turn it to different PoE budgets, and this switch will And of course, you need to change to your power adapter to that total PoE budget. And this switch will just adapt it to the new PoE budget. And for the Smart Cloud and Smart Pro switchers, simply change the PoE budget in the web browser-based interface and apply to it. There are several models already have these flex PoE features, including GS108 LP PP, GS116 LP PP, and GS110 TPP, which is the Smart Pro model, and GC108P and PP, which are Smart Cloud models. Now let's see some advanced PoE management. This shows the management in the local web browser-based interface. For example, there are power cycling, and you can also allocate the power, the maximum power to each port. Or if you don't manually set up the maximum power to each port, just simply set up a power priority, the port priority here, then the switch will decide itself which port to allocate the power as the priority. Also, we have the PoE scheduling here. Simply schedule the time and frequency of the PoE on and off features. And I will have a case study that deploying such features later in the slides. And with the NETGEAR Insights remote and cloud management, the advanced PoE management can also be deployed from anywhere, any devices, anytime. So with the NETGEAR Insight Cloud management, people can get proactive push alerts to the network devices status, and also remotely monitor and manage from any device through the Insight Cloud. We have the mobile app and the web browser-based Insight portal to manage through the Insight Cloud with the switchers and other devices. This is fully integrated cloud manageable devices that do not require additional hardware, software, or server to be managed remotely. For example, the PoE advanced port PoE controls I introduced in the previous slides can also be managed through the Insight remote and cloud management platform. And there are also other Insight manageable features you can see from the dashboard interface here, including purports, power usage, and traffics, and check out the status of each port in terms of the connection and the power in use, enable the port or disable the port, or if there's error status of the port, you can see it directly on each port from the dashboard, and also can get the push alerts to your mobile phone and and Insight portal. Besides, you can set up the VLANs, group port configuration, and lag spanning tree, radius configuration, single network management portal from the Insight management as well. Let's take a look at some PoE cases that we use our NETGEAR PoE switchers. First one is a mobile phone chain store surveillance system that we offered some unmanaged and managed plus smart plus switchers to support their demand. So this store has more than 2,000 stores in China using their network video recorders surveillance platform, including the NVR and surveillance cameras. The network and power solution for the system is provided by our unmanaged switchers, which with less cost and reliable performance and trusted by these clients. Also, there are various port count options for different stores with high PoE budgets and even the flex PoE features. Some models we propose is the 8-port and 16-port PoE switchers. And for some stores has more surveillance cameras, we provide 24 ports PoE switchers so that they connect the cameras to the PoE port, and then the PoE switchers will convey the data and connectivity to data record to the storage that also connects to this PoE switch. There's another one PoE case with the logistic company called Best Logistic. So we use the fully managed PoE switch M40-150 port PoE Plus switch to their global warehouse. They have the client's need is they have many access points, cameras, and clock-in systems in every warehouse globally. So we propose these 48 ports, fully managed switches with 380 watts PoE budget, and it is expandable to 1,440 watts through the EPS. So which is very powerful to support all the devices in the warehouse and the network connectivity and management requirements. So the advantages of using the fully managed PoE switches is that it's powerful and provides stable PoE outputs, and also it's an integrated network management through the fully managed switches. Or the IT managers can easily manage the switches and their network by configure manually, and also worry-free worry-free lifetime hardware warranty on the fully managed switches. Another PoE case with our smart cloud switchers and our wireless access points is that a school use inside cloud management to allow them to switch on and off the Wi-Fi after hours to prevent people from accessing the network. And also, the school is willing to provide a secure guest access to the parents while they're in the school. So their IT managers just deploying our Insight switchers and our wireless access point, which has the instant captive portal, and deploy these PoE scheduling features to provide a full-fledged guest portal for the parents while they're in school. So the specific model we propose is WAC 540 and GC108P, the 8-port PoE switch with Insight Cloud management. They set up the weekly schedule that automatically switch off the PoE ports after hours and during the weekends and holidays. These are all the content I want to share with you guys today. And also, if you want more NETGEAR PoE switch information, we have the landing page for you. Please visit netgear.com/landing/PoE. Thanks, everyone. I'm now open to questions.
Thank you, Effie. Yeah, we have quite a few questions that flow in, and thank you for Derek and Keith. They have got back to most of these questions, so I'll read some out loud. The first one was, is there any 16-port Insight model? The answer is no, the 16-port Insight model, but we do have GS716TP and GS716 TPP Smart Pro switches that has cloud manageable functions as well.
Yes, that's correct. We recently launched these two new 16-port Smart Pro switches with optional Insight remote cloud management.
And there's a feedback says, I recently purchased a managed PoE switches GS724TP version 2 and the GS752TP version 2, both of which include smart cloud management. And open message announces that setting up the smart cloud management will reset the switch to factory default and disable the local management using a browser. So have been reluctant to test the cloud management. Is that something that is true, that once you enable the cloud management, the local management settings will be erased to default?
Yeah, that is true, and it's by design. Because the first time people turn on the Insight cloud management, the switch needs to set back to factory default, and as the new start for all the settings, then anything that is on the Insight cloud will be pushed down to the switch if there's settings on the Insight cloud.
Okay, is there a test account for them to use, just testing it before disable the local management?
I think that's a very good question. They can contact the sales reps to provide the test accounts and trial accounts of the Insights.
So it is available as an option.
Yeah, I think we have 30 days Insight trial.
Okay. The next question is, what are the model numbers for the AC adapters for the Flex PoE?
Simply go to our website to check on the Flex PoE, and all the models start with EPS. Yeah.
Derek has answered this, so I think everyone able to see the answers already. And there's another one says, I'm assuming the end devices are designed for PPoE.
PPoE is actually an non-standard norm for PoE for the IEEE 802.3 BT, if I'm correct. So we have the at NETGEAR we call it PoE++. We have new products. As I show it up here. So the 802.3 BT Type 3 and Type 4 both fall in this PoE++ standards. Well, now we have the Ultra 60 PoE++, which provides up to 60 watts per port.
Okay. Next question. Any cloud managed switch that support PoE Plus and 2.5 gig speed?
So the requirements is PoE plus 2.5 gigabit and Insight cloud on a switch, right?
They were asking the cloud management switch that supports PoE Plus and 2.5 gig.
We don't have that combination for now, but we will have a very shortly. The new product is in plan and will be launched in very short time. So please stay tuned for that.
The next question is, what will happen if I plug the PoE device into the NETGEAR, but also plug into a wall outlet? I'm not sure if I understand this question. Let me read the follow-up question. So if you have a fully functional environment working in a local mode, how do you get the matching configuration to the cloud? Can the switch do PoE Ethernet channeling? Oh, sorry, that's a different person.
So
sorry, I'm reading two different people's questions. I thought they are the same people, same person, but no, the person who had a question was, he just said, plug the PoE devices into the wall outlet and the switch. The next one would be, can the switch do a PoE Ethernet channeling? Sorry, he's typing while I was reading it. I think he's trying to define his questions.
So it's the switch, the power device powered up by the switch and also plug into the wall plug. Yes, okay. So the PoE switch will still provide the data connection to the power device in that case.
Okay. So the other question I read partially is, sorry, I need to go up a little bit. So if you have a fully functional environment working in a local mode, how do you get the matching configuration to the cloud?
In local mode, sure, anything stored in the local mode will be just stored in local. And once you turn on the cloud, it will be the first time it will be set up to the factory default, and you will need to set up the configure all the settings in the cloud, and any settings in the cloud will be stored in the cloud. And next time you can connect or turn on any devices, switches, as well as APs to connect to that cloud, the cloud settings will be pushed down to the device. Any other question? I see is GS418 TPP inside managed. No, it's not inside managed.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. So sorry. The other question is, what are the benefits of deploying PoE?
That's a very good question. So as I talked about before, so you don't have to use the wall plug power outlet. And so by doing so, the lower infrastructure and installation costs will be applied. People will use fewer separate power adapters. There's only one cable run that is required rather than two. And there's no need for electricians. People can use existing IT networking infrastructures, and no limited to fixed power outlet placements. You can extend the wired and wireless network reach. Also, it overcomes the hard to wire environments, including the old or protected buildings. PoE is also very reliable. The RPS backup options keeps the devices running even in the event of a power outage. Also, the PoE port is completely independent, meaning that if one port fails, you can still use another port on the PoE switch to power up your devices and get the data connectivity. And you get the centralized control over to manage the power to the device from a centralized switch. So those are the benefits of deploying PoE.
Okay, and there is also passive PoE. What is the difference between passive PoE and these PoE plus?
So this IEEE standard, the PoE plus, and PoE plus, they are actual active PoE, and they have safe voltage range, established communication procedures, and active PoE devices perform does the handshake. For example, it's like checks to ensure the power is compatible between the PoE senders and the receivers. So if the receiver acknowledges that the power is compatible, the power will be supplied. If not, it will not be powered up. Whereas the passive PoE is the non-standard based PoE, which does not perform a handshake. It is extremely important to know what PoE voltage your device will require before plugging the Ethernet cable and powering up with the passive PoE. Otherwise, if you connect the wrong voltage with the passive PoE, may cause a permanent electrical damage to the device, like the device will be burnt.
Wow. Okay, so what do you see, do you foresee as the future trend of PoE?
I think it heavily depends on the evolution of the power device, which means in these slides you can also see that the evolution of the PoE standards goes from 15.4 watts maximum to 30 watts per port maximum, then to 60 watts and 90 watts. It's all because there are the power device applications that require such high PoE to power up. So right now we have the technologies evolves to support the PoE LED lightings, audio speakers, and the Pro AV encoders, and pan-to-zoom high-end cameras, also some high-end Wi-Fi 6 wireless access points, which will require more than 30 watts per port to power. That's why there is the PoE++ coming out as standard PoE. So in the future, if we have more than 90 watts per port to support power devices, there will be new PoE standards coming out. That's what I believe.
Okay, thank you, Iffy. I think that's all the questions that we have so far. If you have any questions that hasn't been answered, please feel free to email at NA channel marketing@netgear.com.